To create the background, we're going to use neon temper cakes. Start by writing your name and class on your paper. To use the temper cakes, remember to dip your brush in the water, swirl it in the paint, and then start to paint your color. When you're starting to paint your background, it doesn't matter if you stick with a pattern of repeating colors, if you do blotches of color all over the place, or if you do a tie-dye pattern similar to what I've done. One thing to remember, however, is color theory. If you look at the rainbow, try to do colors right next to each other that sit next to each other on the color wheel or in the rainbow. This is going to help you keep a nice bright background instead of muddying up your colors. When you're ready to switch colors, don't forget to rinse your brush and then follow the same steps. The more you rub your color, the darker it's going to be. When you are finished painting the background, put it over on the dry rack. We want our stamp to stay symmetrical. First, decide what orientation you would like your paper to be in. I chose to do portrait. Begin by folding your paper in half and creasing it down the center. You want to keep in mind where the crease is. If we draw on the fold, then when we open it, we'll have one symmetrical bug. If you draw on the opening part when you open it, your bug will be on the outer edges of the paper. Begin by sketching out the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. You can add antennas to your bug, 6 to 8 legs, and whatever other designs you'd like to add. Once your drawing is complete, trace it with a Sharpie. Next, we want to trace our bug onto the back side of our paper. There are a few ways to do this. You can put a piece of white paper behind your drawing to help lighten it up. You can use a window to help the light shine through, or if you have access to a tracing pad or a light table, you can use that. Flip your paper over and trace it onto the back side. When that's done, you can open it up to see that your bug is complete. Next, we're going to transfer our drawing onto our printing foam. Write your name on the back of your foam before you begin. Line the edges of your paper up with the foam and tape it at the top and the bottom to help secure it. By taping it down, it's going to make sure that our drawing doesn't scooch around on us. After it's taped, you're going to use a dull pencil to trace on top of your Sharpie lines. Be sure to apply enough pressure that it's going to draw into the foam but not rip through your paper and foam together. Once your entire drawing is complete, you're going to untape your original drawing from your printing foam. The next step is going to be to darken up your lines. You can see that they're lightly pressed into the styrofoam. If you want a nice clean print, we have to darken up the lines a little bit. Take your dull pencil and trace back over what you've drawn already. As you're tracing, you can color in a few sections of your stamp. This will help to create some depth and variation with the actual print itself. If you color in a section on your stamp, that will show your background color through the print. If you do not color it in, that entire space will remain black. After your drawing is complete, use your pencil or a Sharpie to trace around the outside of your stamp. We want to leave just a little outline around the outside of our stamp to give us a nice border. By doing this before cutting, it will help us create a nice even line around the outside of your bug. Next, you're going to carefully cut on the line that we just drew. Be careful not to rip the foam. If you're having trouble turning the foam or your scissors, you can trim that piece away just like I did there. Slowly cut around the entire stamp. When you're finished cutting, make sure all of your scrap foam pieces go into the garbage can. Do not put them into the recycling. It's finally time for the best part. For the printing process, we're going to be using a rubber roller called a brayer, some black printing ink, which is similar to paint, but it's a lot thicker and a little more sticky, and some kind of a surface to roll the ink onto. In this case, I'm using a piece of plexiglass. To roll the ink onto the brayer, you're going to roll it forward or backwards, but don't roll continuously in a forwards-backwards motion. I am rolling it forward, picking it up, and then rolling it back. After you have your ink kind of dispersed on the plate a little bit, we're going to roll it onto the stamp. Make sure that you have something under your stamp to catch the extra ink. Carefully roll this on top. I'm really not applying much pressure, but I am making sure that I'm getting ink all over my stamp. If you have globs of ink, you're not going to get a very clean print. After you have inked up your stamp, you're going to bring your background paper over and put your bug in the middle. To print your bug, we're going to turn it over, put it down exactly where you want it. Once it comes into contact with the paper, don't try to scooch it or move it at all, and then carefully rub and press the back. If you scooch it around, you're going to smear your print and it's going to look a little bit blurry. You only get one chance at getting a good clean print, so make sure to take your time and go slow. Then you're going to peel it up and you have your print. I thought it would look interesting by adding a little extra around the outside, so I decided to add a little more ink to my stamp and then press it like my bug was crawling onto my paper. When you're happy with your print, put it on the dry rack and you're done.